In that classification, so Zeisim and Novim are biblically forbidden to squeeze. Tusim v'rimein and berries and pomegranates, or halacha says, I'm talking practical, and there's a lot of opinions about, but practical halacha. Any fruit which is normally squeezed for its juice, and it's very common to have juice out of those, for instance, orange juice, lemon juice, apple juice, tomato juice, all those things are common to squeeze the fruit, not as prominent as olives and grapes, but nevertheless they're the same category of tusim v'rimeinim, of berries and pomegranates. Therefore, practically speaking, in our times, any fruit which is normally squeezed for its juice, it's rabbinically forbidden to squeeze on Shabbos. There are other fruits that's called sharpetus, all the other fruit that you never squeeze, but again, today it's questionable what category that exists in a practical sense, because in today's world they have all these different types of juices. So basically, biblically, again, or rabbinically, or the other things, you're not allowed to take any fruit and squeeze it. Whether you're squeezing it by hand, or whether you're squeezing it with a machine, with an instrument, or even a manual, juice squeezer, so it wouldn't be allowed to squeeze it on Shabbos in any way whatsoever. What? No, if you're not allowed to do it, a guy is not allowed to do it. Whatever you're not allowed to do, a guy is not allowed to do. So you can't ask a guy to squeeze an orange, or to have fresh orange juice or lemon juice or whatever it may be. You can't. Okay, 1 second. I'm just going to mention one thing, even though the details of it we're going to learn later. You're allowed to squeeze lemons and all that, whether it applies to tusim, anovim v'zeisim, many people say it applies, it doesn't apply, we'll get into that later. But there's another din in Gemara. The Gemara says, Mashka abola oichel ka'oichel dami. Liquid that goes onto food is considered food. So therefore, if I squeeze a lemon onto a salad, which is very practical, so because I'm squeezing it onto a solid food, i.e. salad, so then it's not that I'm squeezing liquid out of the lemon, I'm taking food out of the lemon. And therefore, that would be allowed. But to squeeze a lemon into a cup of tea, or to squeeze a lemon into an empty container, to have lemon juice, that would be rabbinically forbidden on Shabbos. So practically by us is no different now. Well, there are, but practically speaking, you can't squeeze lemon into tea on Shabbos. You can squeeze lemon juice, you can use lemon juice, it's already lemon juice, or you can slice a lemon and put it into a cup of tea if it's a kli shlishi. Then it wouldn't cook the lemon. But you have to make sure that you don't. I'll give you an example. Let's say you're eating a grapefruit. Okay? You're not allowed to take a spoon and press against the grape. Let's say you cut the grapefruit in half, right? So you're now going to eat a grapefruit. So normally you take a spoon and you eat the grapefruit. Now that's allowed because you're not squeezing the liquid. But you have to be careful. You can't push the spoon against the grapefruit and get the liquid out of it. You know what I mean? You can eat the grapefruit, but you can't squeeze with a spoon. You can't, because then you're squeezing the lemon, or the grapefruit, which is the same thing as a lemon today. It's like tusim v'rimeinim, berries and pomegranates. So you wouldn't be allowed to squeeze with a spoon. You couldn't squeeze against the grapefruit or the lemon or the orange or whatever other fruit it is to be able to get liquid out of it. That you couldn't do. 1 second, yeah?
So okay to drink lemon juice at the bottom of the salad?
Once you squeeze the lemon onto a salad, that lemon is food. Now, when you eat, let's say at the end there's a little bit of lemon juice that fell to the bottom, you're not squeezing anything. Even if you drink it, what are you squeezing? You're not squeezing anything. It's squeezed already and was allowed to be squeezed.
4 lemons difference instead of one for the salad that you have on and take the juice out?
No, you can't take the juice out. It has to be absorbed in the salad. Once it's absorbed in the salad, what are you going to squeeze the salad and take out the juice? That you can't do.
Sits at the bottom. Or that goes at the bottom.
But again, if you're doing it, no, this thing, again, I told you we're going to learn the details later, you're jumping the gun. This is only allowed to squeeze the lemon onto a salad if I'm squeezing it to improve the food. In other words, if I'm doing it to improve the salad's taste, so then the squeezing is food onto food. But if I'm doing it for the liquid, like you're telling me, I need really 1 lemon for the salad. If I'm going to squeeze 4, there'll be so much juice and now I'll have lemon to drink. That you wouldn't be allowed to, because then you're not squeezing the 3 lemons, the extra 3 lemons, to improve the salad. If anything, the salad is going to be tasting awful. It's going to be too sour. So you're doing it for the drink, then your taco wouldn't be allowed. Yeah.
Is Yom Tov different?
Yom Tov is not different because you really can't. No, I'm sorry. Yom Tov is different. It's not, I meant to say is different. I'm saying not different. It's different because Yom Tov you're allowed to do malacha for the sake of food, unless if you could do it erev Yom Tov and it won't hurt the taste of the food. Okay, we're not learning halachos Yom Tov now, but you can't squeeze lemon onto a salad erev Yom Tov and expect it to have the same taste if you squeeze the lemon onto the salad on Yom Tov. So just like you can cook on Yom Tov, you would be allowed to squeeze a lemon even into a cup of tea on Yom Tov. Into a salad, you could do it even on Shabbos.
Take orange juice?
Yeah, but, well, that's questionable. Again, we're not learning halachos Yom Tov now, but orange juice you can make the day before and it's not going to change the taste. It's not going to make it better tasting. It's not that much. If it's going to make it better, you could.
Hot soup.
Yeah.
Can you squeeze the lemon?
No, that's liquid.
That's the.
Yeah.
What about the fish?
If you have a piece of salmon or gefilte fish, you know what gefilte fish is? It's just something Ashkenazim eat. But a lot of Sephardim converted, they eat gefilte fish too. Some of them even eat herring. That's real Ashkenazic. But miracles happen. I mean, But to squeeze lemon onto salmon or gefilte fish, again, you're squeezing it onto food. We learned there are opinions that say that you can squeeze it onto sugar. Let's say you want to put it into a tea. You want to squeeze lemon into tea, which you're not allowed to. But what happens if you squeeze, you have to take a spoon of sugar and then squeeze the lemon onto the sugar.
You're not making the sugar better.
1 second. That you're putting it onto the sugar. Why? Now you have lemon sugar. Ugh. But some people. 1 second. Do you know how many people eat raw lemons today? By the way, if you look in halacha, long ago halacha, the bracha on a raw lemon would be shahako, because nobody ever ate raw lemons. Today, it's a new thing that people eat raw lemons. So today, because it's common to eat raw lemons, if you eat a lemon raw, you're going to make ha'etz. I know we're going off, 1 second. I know we're going off, but if somebody today eats a raw potato, you take a raw potato and eat it, the din is you make a shahakol on it. Because raw potatoes are normally not eaten. In Europe, I mentioned this many times, in Europe, nobody ate raw carrots. They didn't. They ate what was called simis, which was cooked carrots. So then in Europe, because nobody ate raw carrots, if somebody in those days was crazy enough to eat a raw carrot, the bracha was a shahako. And to the extent, I don't know if they still do, but a bunch of the Soloveitchiks would, in my time, the Baron Soloveitchik who lived in Chicago, his kids would make a shahakal on a raw carrot, still. But today, people eat raw carrots. If it started a fashion now in the world that people are going to start eating raw potatoes, then the bracha will become adam. It's not the halacha is changing, the facts change. It's that fruit and vegetable which was planted to not to be eaten raw. So then if you eat it raw, it's a shaka. But anyway, that's, yeah.
If you're squeezing a lemon or an orange, you peel orange into slices and you're squeezing it in your mouth, you have to...
No, that you're not allowed to. I was going to come to that before we got sidetracked. You can't suck a fruit. You can eat a fruit, you can't suck it.
What if the lemon is peeled off with the pulp and then chew it?
Sure, that's eating. That's not squeezing. But you can't suck, yeah.
Some versions are custom. They have the pomegranate, they don't cut it to juice it out. They juice it while it's closed. They squeeze it until it's juiced inside.
You wouldn't be allowed to do that either because you're still extracting the juice. But I didn't finish about the sugar. But that you can't do because you're still squeezing it. It's coming out. It's not coming out yet. As soon as you cut it open, it's going to be out that you squeezed. But anyway, so there are opinions that hold you can squeeze the lemon onto sugar and then put it in tea. Some chassidut calls you're not allowed to, and that's the way we hold that you're not allowed to because you're not doing it for the sugar. You're doing it for the tea. So, and then sugar, questionably, is in the food. It's not food. It might be liquid. Bais Din, there's an argument in halacha. What din does salt and sugar have? Does it have a din of a solid or a din of a liquid? So if it has a din of a liquid, then for sure you can't squeeze because then you're squeezing the lemon onto the liquid, which again, you wouldn't be allowed to do. So there are opinions in halacha that say you could squeeze a lemon onto sugar and then put it into your tea. But the way we hold that you're not allowed to do that because number one, it's liquid. Secondly, you're doing it for the tea, not for the sugar. Huh? Again, I didn't say they're not. I said there are different opinions.
But on Yom Tov it's allowed or not?
Yom Tov would be allowed because again, to squeeze a lemon earlier and before Yom Tov wouldn't taste the same.
Just with your hands? How do you do it?
You can do it with your hands.
You do it using that machine?
Electric machine for sure not. You should be allowed to do it with a juicer too.
It's not allowed.
That's not obviously electric. You can't.